Hi out there in the YouTube, and welcome back to number 12, Pisces. Okay, so how Pisces are you? So I've kind of just condensed this into the 5 traits, and let's see how many of them apply to you. And let me know if they do, and if it's your sun or your moon. And if they don't, well, why that might be the case. Which is really good and really intelligent and smart to go about it in that approach. Instead of just being like, nah, that's just all wrong. No, you have to look into it more and have a more broader scope, all-encompassing. Number 1, it's a water sign. It's the last water sign, so it goes out with an oomph. Remember that it is ruled by Jupiter and co-ruled by Neptune, which is the god of the seas. So, and also with Jupiter, it has very strong energy of Jupiter, the god of wine, which represents spiritual wisdom and is the son of Saturn, the god of time. Number 2. So yeah, number 1 is just saying that they're very emotional and spiritual, but they have that Jupiter Neptunian kind of joviality to them, kind of like child. Don't take things too serious. Number 2 is Neptune energy is romantic, yet deceptive. Why? Because it represents feelings, which can be temporal or temporary. Moods can change. And, like the fish, if they feel boxed in or cornered, think of a metaphor of like just trying to grab onto a fish. The harder you like squeeze or whatever, the more it's just going to slip out your hands. Because they are very free-loving, free-spirited individuals. And they have that romantic energy, which is number 2. Number 3, the symbol of the 2 fish, is the 2 fish swimming in the opposite directions with a line going through the middle, which represents the good and the bad. So, and other different types of dichotomies or, oppositions that they will have to struggle with, because they have kind of like that good boy, bad boy complex where, they can feel torn in different situations between the most appropriate action. Well, I mean, like, they know what would be, like, the most appropriate or perceived as good, but is that really the action that they want to take? And they're always facing that kind of bipolar opposites. And the fish struggling to go in 2 opposite directions. And then number 4 is they are the most psychic of all of the signs. Specifically if your sun or your moon is there. Like moon a lot, because if that's your moon is your mind or emotional self. And psychic energies tend to be of that emotional nature, like touchy-feely. So, because it's not a physical thing, so it's kind of a mood or an aura per se. So yeah, they are typically the most psychic sign. Although this could be debilitated or enabled in a good way, depending on stelliums or trines or squares or different types of energy that they have in their chart. And then number 5 is they are the chameleon of the zodiac. Okay, and now, before anyone gets offended, because I know a lot of people get offended pretty easy nowadays, but by that, what I mean is that being the most psychic sign, they're very empathic. Which I'm putting it as another point because it's not just about being empathic. It's almost empathic to a fault, where, if you put me back on this wall there, and imagine I just, like a chameleon, turned into all the colors in the back. So it was like I just wasn't there. Because they blend so well into their surroundings and take on the energies which surround them. And when they take on these energies that surround them, they become like it. So, you got like football team people, and they're talking about sports and stuff, and then they might go to a horticulture, plants, some kind of gardening club, maybe ballet, or like punk rock, and then they go to like, orchestra, or like it really, depending on who their friends are, is really going to change who they are, kind of, because their inner self is, they need alone time. That's kind of, maybe I'll include that as a 6th point or whatever, but they can find people very draining. because of that empathic nature. So number 5 is the chameleon. So let me know how you scored, and yeah, give this video a thumbs up. Remember that Pisces is represents death, letting go, the end, because it is the last of the signs. So it represents culmination, and linking back to the chameleon nature of all of the signs, they are considered to have energies culminated in them from all of the signs. So even when they are by themselves and they're not taking on anyone else's colors, they're still kind of mysterious. And yeah, the mysteries of the soul. But give this video a thumbs up, like I said, and subscribe if you're new, and leave me any feedback or suggestions for future videos. Planning on doing more on astrology, specifically the history of, and kind of like a timeline, if we were to trace back its origin. Although I really think astrology would truly be older than man itself, because the stars in that have been around, well, at least mainstream says before us, right? So astrology would have been before us. It's just like, who was the first person to write it down? Formulate it into a way that we can understand. But yeah, look forward to seeing you in the future there, and bye for now.